Maria Sevilla with Sevilla Bodyworks. A lot of these videos that I do come out of requests from clients or things that I'm noticing in my own body or in the studio, and so I put these videos together to help my audience just feel healthier during the day and help with those kinks that they might be feeling might be difficult in their body. This video is going to be a little bit different because my current request is from my sister, who is a stay-at-home mom, very busy, and she wanted a 20-minute video to get up in the morning and to get going, and she has little time to exercise. So I thought I would put this together for her, and also thinking about just getting up in the morning and what we need to do to get our day started. So this is going to be around a 20-minute video, and I hope you like it. So let's get started. Well, let's start on our backs, and I'm just making sure I have enough room here to move. And the first thing I want you to do is just kind of simple hook line position here. So the knees are bent, tailbone is down, shoulders are open, and we're just going to take a nice deep breath through the nose and out through the mouth. So when we go through our grounding, we just kind of want to get a sense of our body where it is in space here. So feeling our feet, our hips, and the natural space on our low back. We want to feel like the ribs are dropping down, our collarbones are nice and wide, our hands are reaching down by our sides. Taking a deep inhale, bringing the arms overhead, exhaling as you reach, and then coming back down. So I call this rib cage arms. It's a great exercise to open up the chest and to disassociate the limbs from the torso. So the movement that's happening in the arms needs to happen independently of the body. So you don't want the spine to be moving up and down. And then this last one, I'm going to reach back. I'm going to hold for a moment. I'm going to reach a little bit more, taking a deep breath in. And then I'm going to slide the hands behind my head. So resting the head in my hands, elbows in my periphery, I'm going to gently just curl my upper body up. So if this is your first one of the day, it never really looks that pretty. We're often stiff through our head, neck, and chest. So just take your time feeling this movement, warming up the abdominals, keeping the tailbone heavy and down. Exhaling as you come up and inhale as you come down. It's hard not to jet the chin forward. So you want to think about continuing to rest it in your hands. We're going to pause here. I'm going to have you reach your hands forward just a little bit more and think crown up. And then just bring the arms back up behind your head and then gently come down. So taking an inhale, exhale, curling back up again. Let's take a little twist now. So we're going to reach our right elbow up, our left elbow back, twisting. And then when we're twisting, it's not a rolling action. It's just allowing the spine to turn a little bit here. And it's more important that you open your arms as needed to get that rotation to happen. So again, feeling the shoulders working independently of the torso. And I'm super stiff today, so I can really feel this. Bring it back to center. I'm going to curl up a little bit more because I lost some height there. Reaching my hands forward past my hips, bringing them all the way up and then down. Okay, taking the hands down by your side, I'm going to have you bring your knees into your chest. So this is just going to lengthen the low back here, getting a nice little stretch through the low back. Don't collapse too far in. Just kind of hold gently. Taking a deep inhale. And then exhale and trying to draw the belly away from the lap a little bit. So you're going to engage your lower abdominals and then drift those legs away to a position that you can hold. So depending on the day and how tight your back is, you might need those knees a little bit closer in to keep the belly in. And then for me, I'm a little bit past that tabletop position, but ideally want to get out to here. So I'm going to come a little bit further in for me today, and then I'm just going to do some toe taps. So these toe taps are moving similar to when we're doing the arm reaches. You want to feel the movement in the hip joint. You want to feel independence of the hips from the torso. So it's not affecting my low back. I'm keeping my belly in. And then I'm going to bring my knees back up. And then I'm going to sway them to the right. So when I sway them to the right, I'm moving in my hips. I'm keeping my low back down. So if you have tight hips, this kind of feels good. It almost feels like a little stretch. But I'm also challenging my low abdominals and my obliques by keeping my spine neutral and coming up and off from the mat. So one more each side. So a little lower body twist here, and then coming down and dropping those feet. Okay, so now my feet are down, hands are down by my side. I'm gonna take another deep inhale, reintegrating my body. Starting to feel some of the changes just from doing those ab curls and toe taps. And then I'm gonna go into my pelvic curl, so curling up bone by bone, coming to a high hip position, really trying to get my feet into a good footprint so I feel across the toes and the heel, arches lifted, gently coming back down. So the Pilates bridge is very different from, Pilates pelvic curl, and when we get into that high position, it's very different from a yogi bridge. So if you do a lot of yoga, I try to tell my clients that there's all kinds of bridges out there. And this is like more of a ramp. So you can see I'm a straight line from my knees to my shoulders. Where a yogi bridge, you tend to come up and you're looking for that arch in the spine. In Pilates, we are working for a long spine, lengthening the spine, working the glutes and hamstrings. I think it's great to try all of them and just practice them and be excellent at all of them. So then pushing into the toes here, I want to make sure, I like to say a lot because people like to dig into their heels, puts a lot of stress into, more work into the hamstrings and some stress into the low back. I want to be lengthening, so in order to lengthen, I have to lengthen through my feet too. So work on that, it's really important. You're going to definitely feel more high glute here. So when we're in this position, there's a couple of things that we can do. Different variations. We can start to pulse our hips up and down. So little gluteal pulses. I don't know, 10, 20 times, whatever you feel like you want to do. You can hold here. We can drop the hip a little bit and then pick it back up and drop the other hip and pick it back up again, going into a little twist. Okay, and then we can add one more little fun variety here. We can hold here. We can do marches. So marches is one leg up to tabletop and then back down and then the other leg up and back down. I'd say, try different ones depending on the day. Some are going to be easier, some are going to be harder. And I'm going to do one more each side. These feel good to me today, so I'm going to do one more set. And then coming back down. Now I have to come back and then get back into that high bridge. I've lost a little bit of my height, so I'm going to come back into it. And then I'm going to bring my arms all the way up and overhead. Biceps more by the ears than to the floor, because this is going to be my stretch. Lengthening through my crown, dropping my chin down. I'm going to come down bone by bone. Still thinking about keeping my toes reaching. And then once I get down, I'm going to pull my belly in. So I'm staying integrated through my core, using my abdominals, imprinting my back, sliding my legs out, and then I'm going to do my wonderful first roll-up of the day, which always is a little stiff. It's not always the pretty roll-up, the first one. And then as I go down, so I'm looking for opposition, I'm just going to gently drop my head, but I'm lifting up and over. That's really important so that you can get that stretch through the low back, and then I'm taking that shape and I'm rolling down bone by bone. Reaching my hands overhead, stretching again. It's really easy to just lose it here. So think more about staying in line with your spine and finding your center. So not just center from right to left, but also from front to back. And then coming over, getting a nice little stretch. This is starting to feel a little bit better. And then rolling back down. I always notice when I do these, I end up sliding back a little bit. I think it's the material of my pants on this mat here. So depending upon carpet, you tend to stick a little bit more too. So if you're doing it on the floor, you might not be sliding as much. But no worries, we're going to curl back up. And then we're going to reach. And you notice I'm really pointing my toes. It's just, you can flex your feet if you prefer. If you flex your feet, you're going to get more length through the back of the leg, which can feel really nice when you're coming forward. So I would try either or depending upon what you need. Okay, so I just scooted myself forward because I'm going to curl forward, I'm going to scoop up, and I'm going to point my toes. I'm going to start to curl back. So here's some variety here for this roll-up. So I'm going to find a midway position. So I don't want to be up too high and I don't want to be down too low. So somewhere where I feel I can hold, I stay relaxed through my shoulders. I'm going to bend my right knee and I'm just going to lift and lower my left. okay? So as I'm here, let's do 5, 3, 4, and 5. And then I'm gonna bring it down, slide this leg out, roll the rest of the way down, reach the arms overhead. Again, staying connected to my center, rolling back up, oh, and then reaching again. And then coming back, and then I'm gonna do the other side. So bending the other leg and then lifting and lowering. This is working the hip flexor and quad a little bit here, but I really will still want you to feel like you're engaged through your core. It's really easy to just get into hip, which doesn't feel good. So tuck that tailbone under, pull that belly in, plant the other leg. 3, 4, and 5. Then sliding this out and then coming back down. Okay. Breathing it in, pulling my belly in, rolling back up, and then reaching over. So now I'm getting a lot more length through my back. I've been doing this about, I don't know, about 8 times, right? So it's getting a little easier with the roll up. So let's bend that knee again, adding another variation, lifting that leg up, and I'm gonna rotate towards that leg and come back. We'll do 5. Rotate and come back up. 3 and 4. Last one. 5, coming back, bringing it down, rolling back out. Woof! Definitely feeling my abs now. Lifting the head and then curling back up. Last side, reaching. So every time I come, I'm thinking up and over rather than just collapsing onto my legs. So you're always finding that opposition, coming back down, and then planting the other leg. When that leg is planted, push down. Another thing you can do, if it's really hard to hold this position, you can hold the knee a little bit here, okay? And you can lift and lower like that. But don't hang on the knee. So just a little bit of help. And then you can take a turn with one arm, or if you've got this, you can do both arms. But keep pushing down through that opposite leg to create that support. Last one. And then we're gonna come down, we're gonna slide it out, and then we're gonna roll down. Taking your inhale, I'm gonna circle my arms this time, and then coming up and reaching and stretching. So I'm gonna sit up tall now, and I'm gonna stack my vertebrae up. So when we're sitting, the pelvis is, imagine it's like a big bowl, okay? So you wanna stay balanced on this bowl. You don't want to have your hips too far forward or sitting back. You want your ASIS, so those front bones, to be right over those sits bones, those legs straight out. Sometimes I call this an L position, and it can be really challenging for people who have tight hamstrings. So if you need to, just bend your knees, okay? Because the goal really is to stretch and reach to the back. So I'm going to bend my knees to show you that, and we're going to reach our arms forward, and I'm just going to do a little spine stretch forward through the upper body and coming back. This is basically a seated ab curl. So you don't want to collapse down. You always want to think about lifting up, using your abdominals to round forward and come back up. So let's bring the arms up and then circle them out. Oh, that feels great. Opening the shoulders and then rotating. So I'm going to straighten my legs now. If you need to still bend your knees, you can do so. And then I'm going to round forward and reach. This is for a saw. And then coming up and then back. So a good thing to remember is just think belly off of lap. Don't let the belly come down to the lap. Keep the belly pulling off the lap. And then we're going to come forward, reaching, and then back up. And last one. Oh, this feels great, getting that little stretch. And then coming back up, bringing those arms forward. Let's bring them up, circle them behind you, bring the knees back in. So now, this is a beautiful chest opener, so I just want you to open that chest up a little bit and just enjoy that, taking that deep breath into your chest. Inhale in. All right, I have my fingers forward like this. This is more of a traditional version of this exercise. Different, if you have wrist issues, you can do fists. This is pretty comfortable taking your hands out to the side. Okay, so we're gonna go into table. So with the hands down, and you're gonna plant your hands. Now I had you open your chest first, but now I want you to bring your head, your neck, and chest in line, okay? You're gonna use your feet, plant your feet, push down, lift your hips up, and move into a table. And then you're gently gonna come back down. You wanna distribute the weight evenly between your shoulders and your legs. So don't fall back and don't scooch too much forward, but just think about pushing your hips up, straight in between your knees and your shoulders, and then gently come back down. So now we're gonna do one more, lifting up, and I'm looking forward at my knees. And then I'm slowly gonna come back down, but I'm not gonna drop my butt all the way to the mat, and keeping my chest open, but my head, neck, and aligned with my shoulders, and I'm just gonna do little tricep dips here. Okay, so just warming up the back of the arms. 3, 2, and 1, and then dropping the bottom and going in for a little hug here. And I will release that. So it's nice to open up the chest, especially if we have days where we're forward, maybe we're picking up kids, may want to be over a computer. So opening all that up and using the back of the arms. So we're gonna move into some more leg work now. I'm gonna have you come over onto the side and lie down on your side. So this is my sideline chair position. The feet are directly out from the knees directly out from the hips. My trochanters are stacks. The trochanters are the widest part of our hips. So I have a little space underneath my waist. Sometimes we call that a little mouse house, so about that big. And then my shoulders are also stacked here. I'm gonna have you lift that top leg up. This is called hydrant, and we're lifting and lowering. You see my feet, or my foot is in line with my knee. I'm not dropping my foot down or lifting it way up, just the whole thing is coming up. And I'm light through the lower legs. So I want you to really focus on lifting from the outside of the hip. If you're not sure, you can take your hand to the hip right here and just think about pushing into your hand with the top of your thigh. And that might help engage that a little bit deeper for you. Okay, now we're gonna come up, and then I'm gonna send that leg out, lengthening, and then coming back in. So these are called reaches, and I'm lengthening out and coming back in. I'm not really counting these, but anywhere between 5 to 10 I think is great. I think that's 5 probably. Let's do a couple more here. I always say that. I always say 2 more. So last one, and then reach, because you can always get 2 more in, and then you're gonna flex forward, and then you're gonna point back. So then you're just swinging the leg, moving from the hip socket, trying not to move the back. So keep thinking about those trochanters staying stacked, shoulders staying stacked. All right, 2 more. See how I did that? And then come here and then circle a little bit. And then reverse. Oh, that feels good. All right, now lengthen out, hold that there, keep that leg there, and then straighten the bottom leg and try to pull it up to meet it. So try to get both those feet together, pull the belly in, keep the waist as lifted as you can, little lifts and lowers of both the legs. Engaging your inner thighs and the lower belly. 3, 2, 1. Okay, little kicks together. And 3, 2, 1. Bring them down, relax. Bend the knees in, take that outside hand, push yourself up, and then gently swing yourself around to the other side. So we're gonna come back down to the other side, doing the same series, lifting up and down. I always tell my clients if they can remember that, the whole series, I won't make them work as hard. 3, 4, 5. So let's go do 8, 6, 7, and 8. And I'm gonna lift up and then reach out and then come back in. So you'll notice how you might have feel like more length, or it might be more challenging on one side or the other. And that's why it's so important to make sure those trochanters are stacked, you feel your shoulders are stacked, and you're nice and even on each side. Okay, a few more here. I think I might run into that poster. So I'm gonna scooch out this way, and then we're gonna come forward and push back. I'm flexing forward and I'm pointing back. Getting length through the back of my leg. This video might be a little more than 20 minutes. It might be like 23. Okay, so last one. And then come this way, and then little circles. And reverse. Okay, now keep that leg straight, really lengthen out, keep the waist lifted, bring that bottom leg to meet it. Ooh, squeeze those inner thighs, lift up and down. We have emergency outside right now. Hopefully everyone's okay. Hopefully it's not my house. 3, 2, 1, and then kicking together. So really try to emphasize, not just blah, 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 but squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. 3, 2, 1, and then relax. Okay, I'm gonna have you flip over onto your tummy now. Okay, and now that these glutes are like fired up and really active, I feel like this is a wonderful time to get into our extension, because you do need that support of the glutes for the lower back. We're gonna go into Cobra. So hands are out from our cheeks, I'm looking straight down. I'm reaching those legs out, I'm feeling the hips, so I'm really extending. I'm drawing my belly up, and I lift up, and when I lift up, I set my lower arms. I'm taking my whole rest of my body up. So as my body comes up, I don't want my shoulders to draw forward. I see this a lot. But you don't want to pull them way back like that, because then you get too much into your lats and you lose the connection to your core. So think about setting the lower arms, reaching the legs, and pulling the chest, head, and neck up together. So the body is coming up, and then gently come back down. And we're going to do that 2 more times. So again, this is a lovely extension, chest opener, drawing the abs up, and then coming back down. And then on this next one, we're going to add a little variety to it. So we're going to come up just like this, holding that belly up. Now when I come down, or excuse me, scratch that, extend the arms. If you can, lengthening. So you saw my hips come up, that's my body coming up with everything, setting my shoulders. Now I'm going to gently bend my elbows, come down, and lift the back of my legs. And then I'm going to send the arms out. I'm gently going to look down and out, and I'm going to begin my swimming. So swimming is kind of like, can be challenging. Lots of times we try to do it for about 30 counts, but we can always work up to that. I think we've done about 10, so let's do 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. And then you relax everything down. Bring your arms into your side. Push yourself into your child's pose. Relax, rock back and forth. Whatever feels good here. Breathing in and out. Reaching your hands out to the side. And then walking to the other side. And then when you're ready, gently rolling yourself up. Okay, so let's try that. I hope you enjoy it. We'll see you again soon.